Hi, Sutamani here. Thanks for clicking on my opt-in so that you get this free ebook, 10 questions you must ask before starting a home-based business. The link will bring you to this page on my blog, so then you just find this download, the clicky link there, you click on that, it takes you through to the ebook. So here they are. I'm going to read them all to you. For those people who like to listen to a document, which a lot of people do these days, I use Audible a lot myself, listening to documents. It also helps the ideas become clearer. Some people like to listen and read at the same time, so you've got a choice here. Hope this is helpful. The 10 questions you absolutely must ask before choosing a home-based business. In about the time it took to read the title of this ebook, another home-based business began. That's right. Every 11 seconds, someone takes their destiny into their own hands and leaps into the entrepreneurial world. The reasons for this are many, from generating greater cash flow to having total control of day-to-day activities, and because you're reading this ebook, chances are you are intrigued at the prospect of being your own boss. By the numbers, home-based businesses look to be a very attractive option for being your own boss, living out your dreams. Consider that home-based businesses generate $427 billion per year. Yes, nearly $500 billion. That's more than the pharmaceutical, food and consumer goods industries combined. They earn on average $65,000 per year, a number in 18.3 million enterprises. That's 12% of US households. The United States Small Business Administration estimates that more than half of all the small businesses in the country are home-based. But home-based doesn't mean small change. The SBA's Office of Advocacy notes that more than 20,000 home-based entrepreneurs grossed over $1 million each. Even more than the logic of opening a home-based business is the emotional component. A survey conducted by Home Office Computing magazine showed that 98% of respondents are happier working from home, 96% would recommend working from home, and 88% never return to the corporate world. Well, I'm in that 88%, by the way. The most attractive thing and aspects of home-based businesses include generally low entry costs. 40 to 40% of home-made businesses require less than $5,000 to start, excellent tax deductions and flexible hours. And don't forget the power of the internet to supercharge a business's potential. The world is your customer, as opposed to just the people in your own backyard. More than 70% of Americans, just like you, long to be self-employed, but the truth is most won't take the leap. Some of those who do simply won't succeed. That's because they didn't take the time to investigate their options and stack the deck in their favour. The kinds of home-based businesses vary. One option many people are familiar with is to be a distributor for a company, generally termed network marketing. In this case, you typically approach family and friends with the products and services offered by the company with which you are affiliated. Another type of home-based business, and the one that I'm most excited about, is an online home-based business. Not only do you not need to begin with your friends and family, though they are more than welcome to take advantage of this amazing opportunity, you also don't necessarily need to talk with people if that aspect makes you uncomfortable. You can do all of your business activities from your own home. In this ebook, we'll focus on online home-based businesses. Starting an online home-based business is easy. Sustaining that business and succeeding requires the perfect formula of systems and support. That's something Matt Lloyd and I know a little bit about. You see, a few years ago, now this goes on to say I, and it's actually Matt Lloyd that's talking, but an awful lot of what he has done, I have also done too. You see, a few years ago, I was right where you are now, knowing I wanted something more than the 9-to-5 drudgery, seeing the wonderful possibilities of a life filled with travel and leisure, but not knowing how to get there. My journey took me down some interesting paths, many of which culminated in dead ends. But each and every endeavour undertaken showed me what would be critical characteristics of the right online home-based business, as well as other things that I thought were important but really weren't. When it comes to teaching and training others, nothing beats a story. Through this ebook, Now again, it's Matt Lloyd's, most of what Matt Lloyd has experienced. I'd like to share my experience with you and help you to select an online home-based business that will fulfill all your requirements and allow you to live the life of your dreams. I'll do this largely through telling my story. In the past few years, through striking out on my own and eventually starting Mobe, I've discovered that when it comes to teaching and training others, nothing beats a story. Stories illustrate points and invite you in to experience truths in an engaging and imaginative way. Plus, you'll remember much more through stories than you ever will with dry facts and statistics. That's because a story's emotional component will resonate with you. As you read this ebook, you may find yourself feeling my fears and ultimately celebrating my successes. And the good news is you can have these same successes too. So let's get started with the first and most important question. Why do you want to start an online home-based business? An online home-based business must represent something to you that you can't get anywhere else. You might desire greater income potential, personal fulfillment, or the freedom to do what you want when you want without asking permission from the boss. Maybe you're retired or heading into retirement. That's me. Do you feel you have much more to contribute, but on your own terms and your timetable? Do you want to get out of an online home-based business exactly what you put into it, making sure that the upside is in direct proportion to your commitment? Perhaps you're in midlife and find yourself faced with being downsized, or maybe you're still in the corporate world but looking for more. You've seen those 9 to 5 days turn into 7 to 7 days, all the while your kids get older and you see them less and less. You've missed football games and piano recitals and sacrificed so much time with your family with nothing to show for it. That's the catch-22 with regular jobs. You work harder and harder to give your family everything they want and need, when what they really want is you, time with you and experiences with you. Nothing delivers that like a home-based business where you control your time investment. Whether you want freedom, income or fulfillment, an online home-based business can be the vehicle that gets you where you want to go. Because it's important to crystallize your vision for what you want to have, do or become through the freedom provided by an online home-based business, take a moment to write down 5 things you plan to achieve through self-employment. I've started a few of the sentences for you to get your creative juices flowing. So I recommend you stop the video for a couple of seconds and write these things down. I want to experience, I want to purchase, I want to achieve, I. Your list may include travel to exotic locales such as Costa Rica and Fiji, or to luxurious resorts like the Atlantis Resort in the beautiful Bahamas. Imagine a business that provides these opportunities absolutely free of charge. Mobe held its titanium mastermind at the Atlantis, and more than 300 of your peers from around the globe spent 3 days learning the best business and marketing strategies without spending a penny. Whatever your personal dreams, I encourage you to keep them front and centre in your mind. Not only will that keep you motivated to choose the right online home-based business for yourself, but it will also provide the momentum you need to move toward your goals. Choose a business that can work no matter where you are located, has a proven system, supportive community, and a team of coaches and mentors that can train you and guide you along the way. But most of all, choose a business that allows you to live your dream lifestyle. Question 2. What are your income goals, and can the business you select support those goals? In the section above, we discussed the reasons you want to begin a home-based business. You even had a chance to list some of those dream items and experiences you'd like to have. Now it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty. What amount of money is necessary to move those things from dream to reality? It's all well and good to say you'd like to own a G5 airplane, but exactly how much cash will be required to park that plane in your own hangar? Let me tell you about the dream I had that set my feet on the path to creating Mobe. We'll travel back to late 2008. I was in my 4th year at University of Western Australia, just a whisper away from graduating. I'd finally settled on a double major in business and economics. I had good grades and envisioned a Gordon Gekko future for myself. Gordon Gekko, eh? If you've seen the movie Wall Street, you know the sort of ultra-elite life I had in mind. Not that I wanted to be Gordon Gekko, mind you. Not a very nice guy, all in all, but I aspired to be that sort of lifestyle complete with Italian suits, luxury cars, and maybe a Rolex on my wrist. My plan was to achieve this standard of living through being a high-powered banker, and I certainly had put the pieces in place to make that happen. I had plenty of motivation to do well. I grew up in a rural community in Western Australia, the youngest of 4 kids. On my parents' farm there was plenty of work to do, but precious little money to go around. More often than I'd like to admit, I heard my parents tell me they didn't have the money for the things I saw the other kids have. I saw them put in a lot of sun-up to sundown effort for very little return. I didn't want my life to be that way. It seemed to me that the harder you work, the more money you should earn, but that certainly wasn't what I saw played out in my parents' lives. I vowed that my life would be different. I started exactly the way I suggested that you start. In other words, I essentially answered question one. I set a goal to have a net worth of $100,000. What would it take me to achieve that goal? From a young age, I started several small businesses. Even as a teenager, I knew that working for myself would deliver benefits I could never expect to have working for someone else. My most successful endeavour among all the different things I tried was a landscaping business. I charged $15 per hour and built a robust client list. Every dollar I paid to me went straight into the bank. I never withdrew a penny. It became the game to me. How quickly could I build my net worth to $100,000? I typed and printed this statement: I will have $100,000 net worth by December the 31st, 2008. I made copies and posted that notice everywhere to remind me of my goal. I taped it on my car visor, my bathroom mirror, and in the nightstand next to my bed. While I was energised and motivated to reach this goal, I knew I wouldn't get there mowing one lawn at a time. Think about question 2. My income, or in this case net worth, goal was $100,000. Clearly, my landscaping business would have a hard time supporting my goal. I realised I needed a bigger pool of customers, much bigger than my hometown or even Perth, the state capital, could offer. I wanted the whole wide world to be my customer base, so I turned to the internet. It seemed to me that any product or service I provided needed to have a lot of potential clients. I popped up my browser and very carefully began typing one word at a time. How to make money online. Little did I know that these 5 words, made up of just 20 letters, would be the beginning of a life-changing experience for me. One little internet search would alter my life. And even now, nearly 7 years later, what you're about to discover won't only change your life, but the lives of so many others. As you might expect, my Google search returned thousands upon thousands of results. Most of them looked like scams to me. I'm a born skeptic, and if you're like me, you probably think these too good to be true sites have to be just that. However, I knew the internet was a vast marketplace. Somewhere in those thousands of sites returned had to be one legitimate way to make money online while helping people at the same time. I found one site that seemed intriguing, but the person was very vague on the details. He talked about living a life of his dreams and how if I used his system, I could do the same. The site asked me to opt in with a name and an email address and a phone number. I went ahead and took the leap. After all, I had already decided I wouldn't hit my 1,000 net worth goal by mowing lawns. The phone rang the next day and I listened to the guy on the other end of the line for about 15 minutes. He talked pretty big, but I wasn't buying. He persuaded me to log into a webinar set for the next day. I agreed, but mostly to get him off the phone. I blew off the webinar and decided to keep searching. You probably won't be surprised to hear that the online pitchman called me again. He offered me one more chance to attend a webinar. This time I kept the appointment. The webinar discussed the opportunity, which I now know is called network marketing. I didn't even know that's what it was. The webinar host just kept talking about how you invited others to the webinar and made money through their participation. At the end of the webinar, I learned the opportunity cost would be $2,000. Wait a minute, hold the phone? That's a lot of money. I was interested. I could see the potential, but I don't know, $2,000. That leads us right into question 3. Question 3, come along. Here we go, startup. Can you talk to someone who is working the business you're interested in? No, that's question 4. How much are you willing to invest in an online home-based business? Most people are willing to invest like a hobby, but want the financial return of a business. If you want the upside and income potential of a true and legitimate business, you will probably need to make an investment similar to that you would make with a real business, offline. Would you consider a McDonald's franchise to be a real business? Do you imagine that the guy that runs the McDonald's in your town does all right for himself? Do you think he contacted McDonald's headquarters and said, "Hey, I'd like to own a McDonald's. How about I give you $20 and we get started?" Of course it didn't happen that way. In all actuality, that franchisee invested between $1 and $2 million to start his entrepreneurial endeavour. Chances are he was happy to do it because he was buying into a proven system with lots of tools and support right at his fingertips. In my opinion, any online home-based business you examine must offer a balance between the initial investment and the earning potential you can earn right out of the gate. That's why Mobe is structured to provide easy entry and quick income to keep you motivated. However, at this point, you are probably wondering what I did about the $2,000 business presented to me by the online pitchman. Well, it's not like I didn't have the money at the time. I did have it. But my upbringing on the farm meant that I lived very frugally. I really had to be sure this would work for me. The guy who introduced me to the opportunity kept following up with me. He asked for the sale time after time, but I just commit. Finally, he gave me an ultimatum: decide or I'm moving on. As a final gesture of goodwill, he offered to participate in a 3-way call with me and a colleague who was making $50,000 a month in the opportunity. I agreed. Question 4. Can you talk to someone who is working the business you're interested in and will give you the real details? The woman I spoke with during the 3-way call was an incredibly positive person. I had made a list of 17 questions and she answered every single one of them. Every answer sounded good and right and, well, positive. At the end of the call, she asked for the sale and I took the lead. I sent $2,000 and was ready to turn my net worth dream into reality. Well, almost. Question 5. Do you have the confidence of your convictions once you've decided on a business? Businesses require staying power. You have to be ready to commit to make the business work. I can't tell you how many people I've seen start a business and then let their friends and family get in their ear. Are you sure you want to do this? What if it's a scam? Do you truly think you can make money on the internet? It's impossible. Here's a cold, hard truth about your well-meaning friends and family. They are comfortable with you exactly the way you are. They like you living in the house you live in, driving the car you drive, and earning exactly what your boss is willing to pay you. Because what really happens if you go after your dreams and actually succeed? You begin living in bigger and better houses, taking dream trips around the world and driving the cars they've only seen in James Bond movies. Essentially, you're showing them that it can be done, that it's not impossible. And that, my friend, is decidedly uncomfortable for them. You probably figured out by now that a lot of this ebook is written to help you avoid the mistakes I made, and I'm a little embarrassed to say that I didn't have the confidence of my convictions on my first foray into internet marketing. While I was waiting for my kit to arrive, I started researching the company. It was like a firestorm of negativity raining down and drowning out all these positive feelings I'd gotten from the lady I spoke with. Since starting my own company, I've come to know a little bit about bad reviews. Not only are most of them fake, most of them are competitors. That's right, if you can throw enough mud on the other guy and totally spook the customer, he's probably right for recruiting into your own opportunity, and that's just what happened with me. I started snooping around on review sites. I think I was looking for reasons to back out, and there were plenty of reasons to cut and run. I found one of those fake review sites that told me what a huge mistake I'd made, and oh, by the way, this site recommended another business opportunity that was the real deal. So, what did I do? I called the first group and asked for my $2,000 back in order to try the other guys. The sales process was virtually identical. I filled out an opt-in with my name and phone number and eventually participated in another 3-way call. Only this time, I wasn't talking to someone who was pulling in $50,000 a month. In fact, the person I spoke to hadn't made a penny in the business opportunity. Of course, I didn't know that then. What mattered to me is the person made me feel comfortable. She didn't talk about Learjets and Lamborghinis. She talked about spending more time with her family, having control over the hours she worked, and earning in direct proportion to her dedication and tenacity. It rang true with me. She was authentic and I liked her. Because this woman made me feel so comfortable, I decided to take the leap. Not only did I buy that $2,000 product, but I went to an in-person event to learn more about what they had to offer. My jaw nearly dropped when they described their largest package. It was priced at a whopping $24,000 US. With the exchange rate at the time, that was about 38,000 Australian. I'd saved a little more than 40,000 from my various ventures and landscaping business. I'd already paid 2,000 for this business's intro kit. Now they were asking for another 38,000. That would wipe out my bank account. Could I really do this? The truth was, I could see the potential. I could see how the business could work. The big unknown was me. The business could work, but could I work the business? With a few tears and a lot of uncertainty, I watched my account balance drop to zero. I had taken the plunge. Would you like to get an email from Mo with the subject line, "Congrats, you now qualify for your Mo Motors car"? All of these people have received a Motors car. Have a look at them. Read their stories as you go. Okay, question number 6. Are you prepared to totally commit to the online home-based business you choose? Here's an interesting thing about home-based businesses. When you commit everything to working a program, failure isn't an option. I needed this business to work. I'd spent every last penny on it. I discovered that my chance for success was directly proportional to my level of commitment. That includes both financial and emotional commitment. I'd spent $40,000 on this business and I had to treat it like a $40,000 business. There was no way I could lose $40,000 on a gamble. This had to be a sure thing, and the only thing that would make it that way would be my commitment level. I discovered that my chance for success was directly proportional to my level of commitment. Maybe you've heard the story of explorer Hernan Cortes, who landed on modern-day Mexico with 600 men, 16 horses and 11 boats. Cortes and his men planned to conquer the great Aztec Empire and its peoples, who had famously hoarded a vast treasure of gold, silver and jewels. Cortes knew the deck was stacked against him. 600 men were attempting to subdue a civilization that for 600 years had resisted all comers, especially those with more troops and resources. As Cortes' men marched inland to face either glory or decimation, their commander spoke 3 words that would change the course of history: burn the boats. Cortes knew that if things got tough, if the bloody sweaty smell of failure invaded the nostrils, his men would retreat to the sure thing of returning home. With no exit strategy and a battle looming, Cortes' men had 2 choices: die or emerge victorious. In the same way that Herman Cortes famously burned the ships to keep his crew from turning back, spending my life savings had figuratively burned the ships for me. The only way out was forward with full commitment. Because I had no choice but to succeed, I committed everything to my business. I dropped out of college, telling myself I'd come back later, and began doing the business full-time. In the beginning, I was optimistic. I knew that people were making fortunes on the internet, and there was no reason that I shouldn't be one of them. I learned everything there was to know about Google AdWords. I trained myself on how to build websites. In short, I did everything I could do to succeed. But after 9 months, I hadn't had one sale. In fact, I'll tell you a secret. I was doing too much. You've heard the old saying, "Jack of all trades, master of none." Well, that described me. I was building websites, generating traffic and working the phones, and truth be told, I wasn't that great at any of those activities. Friends and family whispered behind my back. They all thought I'd been scammed. They tutted over my bad decision. Poor Matt. Did I feel embarrassed? You bet I did. But I knew that a day would come when I would turn the corner, and it did. I remember it like it was yesterday. I got my first sale in September of 2009, nearly a year after I decided to change my life. Question 7. Does your choice of online home-based business have an attractive commission structure? My first sales name was Samantha. She bought the introductory product priced at $1,800. My commission was just under $1,000. I can't tell you how great that felt. Even though I'd invested $40,000 in the business and just made my first $1,000 commission, I knew that 39 more entry-level sales, or just about 2.5 back-end sales, and I'd have my full investment returned and be ready to hit higher levels of success. Once that first sale came, things began happening quickly. By January 2010, I had made my first big $24,000 sale. Would you know how much of that sale I kept? About $14,000. That's right. The commission structure allowed me to keep a large percentage of the sales figure in commission. If you don't think that's motivation to make sales, I've got news for you. I actually watched the wire transfer hit my bank. I felt like a superstar. As I continued to work the business, I had several $100,000 days. My sales became more consistent, and I discovered that it became easier and easier to achieve sustainable success. In fact, the only thing that stopped my success in its tracks was leads. 8. Does your choice of online home-based business provide good leads? I finally got to the point where I could sell consistently, but I desperately needed more buyers. The company I was working with couldn't provide me with the leads I needed to sustain the income level I had come to enjoy. If they couldn't help me, I would have to help myself. That's when I contacted a list broker. One guy offered me about 70,000 names. He very honestly told me that he had no idea of the quality of the list. In the end, he made a deal with me. He said, if you don't make at least $1,000, don't pay me. Guess what? I didn't pay him. The leads were dogs. The list was ancient and littered with wrong numbers, barely a qualified client in the bunch. I made $700 off one sale and then pitched the list in the garbage. By this time, I knew the elements necessary to create a dynamic internet marketing enterprise. It was time to go out on my own. I decided to create an internet product based on everything I had learned during my own journey. After all, I knew what worked best. Question 9. Does your chosen online home-based business offer support and services? The biggest thing I learned through this journey is that it's difficult to run an online home-based business when you have to wear all the hats. It's illogical to believe that someone can be good at sales, marketing, accounting, design, programming, and all the other talents needed to start a business and jumpstart it to success quickly. I wanted to create a full complement of training programs that could lead others to the success I've enjoyed, with a knockout front-end product. Once you've been in the business for a few weeks, you'll understand how key the front-end product is. The front end does most of the selling for you. When your clients start with a knockout front-end product, they will be very receptive to future you offer. 21-Step Business, one of my top-selling front-end products that does the selling for you. We give you the websites and funnel the traffic you generate to the best phone closers in the business. All you do is generate traffic. Plus, you don't have to be an expert at everything. We give you the websites and funnel the traffic you generate to the best phone closers in the business. All you do is generate traffic. When you're new, you don't know what you don't know. You can't possibly anticipate the types of questions your prospects will ask. Our phone closers are experts in our programs and in the science of selling. You don't have to learn the hard way like I did. As a consultant with Mobe, you will promote my products that have made me and several of your fellow consultants millionaires. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You'll have a persuasive front-end product with an easy entry fee, plus you'll be able to upsell into higher ticket selections. Experience shows that about 20% of your front-end clients will convert to bigger products with significantly higher commissions. As you rack up those front-end sales, you can almost calculate your continuing success. Now we come to the most important question of all, question number 10. Are you ready to let Mobe transform your life? What started in my bedroom has become a multinational company, booking more than actually it's over 200 million now in sales annually and paying out over 105 million, it's now 105 million, in commissions to people like you and me. If any of this story rings true with you, if you've searched for a true opportunity that can begin small and change your life in every way, I encourage you to become a Mobe consultant. Remember that Mobe makes it easy instantly, without creating your own products, without any business or management experience, without capital or investing with customers, returns or fulfillment, without building websites, without selling anything over the phone or in person, without any computer skills at all, and without leaving the comfort of your own home. There he is, Matt Lloyd, multi-millionaire, and he's only just turned 30. You simply become a consultant of my worldwide organisation. You bring the leads and we actually show you exactly how to do even that aspect of the business. We do everything else. You don't need to sell because I have some of the top salespeople in the world working for me. And when those top salespeople get your leads on the phone and sell them, you earn a commission. In fact, you earn the lion's share of the commission because you brought the lead in. As your leads grow in their own success and buy more Mobe products, you continue to get paid. That's only fair. You brought them in. As nice as it is to get recurring commissions on current leads, nothing beats getting continuing commissions from folks you brought in 6, 8 or 10 months ago. What's more is those commissions tend to be even bigger and better because satisfied customers buy higher ticket products. If everything I've shared in this ebook about Mobe describes exactly what you're looking for in an online home-based business, including taking care of absolutely everything once you bring in a lead, paying out generous commissions when those leads buy, I urge you to enroll today. Follow the steps below to begin the journey that can change your life just like it changed mine. Sign up as a consultant using the link below. Actually, it's a link to, I'll show it to you, this one here. It's a link to the Wi-Fi Millionaire using the 21-step training and business system. I hope this has been useful. If you've got any questions, you can write them at the bottom of this video and I'll answer it. Bye for now.